Today we're diving into something, well, something pretty scary. A new kind of digital weapon that doesn't make a sound. It completely bypasses all the rules we thought kept us safe. Let's get into it.
Just let that sink in for a second. No click, no download, no warning at all, and your phone is completely owned. This isn't a scene from a sci-fi movie. This is the very real, documented threat of zero-click spyware. It's a threat that doesn't bother knocking on your door. It just materializes inside your house.
For as long as I can remember, there's been one golden rule for staying safe online. We all know it. But here's the thing. That rule, it's not just old, it's dangerously out of date. You know, we were all taught to be our own digital bodyguards, right? The whole idea was that for a hacker to get in, you had to mess up. You had to click the sketchy link or open the weird email attachment. Our own common sense was supposed to be the firewall.
Okay, so this is where everything changes. One-click attacks needed us. Zero-click attacks, they just bypass you entirely. They're not going after your brain, they're going after your phone's brain. All those little convenient things our phones do for us automatically, like when you get a message and it shows you a little preview of the image, that's the stuff they exploit. That exact moment of convenience becomes the weapon.
But how is that even possible? How can an attack be totally invisible? Well, let's pull back the curtain and look at how these digital ghosts actually work.
Right. So here's the core of it. The attack kicks off when your phone is just doing its job, trying to be helpful. An attacker sends this, let's call it a poisoned file. Your phone gets it and automatically tries to process it in the background to create that preview we talked about. And bam, in that split second, the trap springs. It's kind of like your phone catching a cold just by being in the same room as the data. No handshake, no interaction needed.
To really get a handle on this, let's talk about the most famous or infamous case out there, an exploit with the codename forced entry. This thing was, frankly, a work of evil genius. It was the delivery mechanism for the notorious Pegasus spyware, and its target? Oh, just one of the most used apps on the planet, Apple's iMessage. So check this out. This is how it worked. A file gets sent to your phone. To you, it looks like a harmless little GIF. But your phone, as it tries to generate that preview, triggers a super obscure bug in a piece of code. And this is the crazy part. The exploit uses that tiny little bug to basically build a whole new mini computer inside your phone's memory. From there, it bypasses all of Apple's security and installs the spyware. And you see literally nothing, not a flicker on the screen.
Okay, so a weapon this complex doesn't just appear. This is big business. It's the product of a shadowy, multi-billion-dollar global market. So the question is, who's making this stuff? And more importantly, who's buying it?
And that brings us to the NSO Group. Now, this company is a real game changer. See, in the old days, tools this powerful were strictly the domain of government spy agencies, the NSA. What NSO did was they packaged it up, they created spyware as a service, and started selling it to government clients all over the world.
So what's a single, undiscovered vulnerability that can pull this off actually worth? Well, private brokers have reportedly paid over $2 million for one bug. That's the kind of money that fuels this whole digital arms race.
And for that price, what do you get? You get the keys to the kingdom. We're talking total ownership of that person's phone. It can read your supposedly encrypted messages on Signal or WhatsApp. It can secretly turn on your microphone and camera whenever it wants. Your phone becomes a spy you carry around in your pocket. It knows where you are, it sees your photos, your emails, your passwords, everything. Privacy is just gone.
Now, the official line from NSO Group is always, oh, we only sell this to fight terrorists and serious criminals. But then came a massive investigation called the Pegasus Project, and what they found was a leaked list of 50,000 phone numbers selected as targets. And who was on that list? It wasn't just kingpins. It was journalists, human rights activists, CEOs, and yeah, even heads of state.
So this is where it gets really serious. We've talked about the code, we've talked about the money, now let's talk about the human cost. Because this isn't just a tech issue, this has devastating real-world consequences.
And this is probably the most chilling example. Investigators found evidence that Pegasus was used to spy on the inner circle of journalist Jamal Khashoggi right in the months before he was murdered. It's a terrifying link, showing how this kind of digital spying can be a direct precursor to physical violence.
And it doesn't stop there. This is being used for straight-up international espionage. We're talking about the phone numbers of world leaders like French President Emmanuel Macron and key figures in the Spanish government, all showing up on that target list.
It shows that even friendly countries, allies, are using these tools against each other, creating this cloud of invisible suspicion.
Which leads to the million-dollar question, right? Or maybe the trillion-dollar question. Why can't giants like Apple and Google just fix this? Why can't they just slam the doors shut on these attacks for good? I mean, it's what we're all thinking. They have armies of the world's best engineers. So why is this still a problem? The answer, unfortunately, is because the problem isn't just one bug. It's baked into the system itself.
Think about it like this. First off, your phone's operating system has millions and millions of lines of code. Finding every single bug is just impossible. Second, we want our phones to be connected all the time, and that very connectivity is the highway these attacks drive on. And finally, you have that multi-billion-dollar spyware market. It's a constant cat-and-mouse game. Apple closes one door, and an army of people paid millions of dollars is already looking for an open window.
Apple's answer to this was something they call lockdown mode. And it really shows us the grim choice we're facing now. On one hand, you have your normal phone experience, all the features, all the convenience, but with a higher risk. On the other hand, you can flip on lockdown mode. It's like putting your phone in a digital bunker. It's much, much safer, but it shuts down a lot of those convenient features that make a smartphone. So you're forced to choose convenience or security.
And this really brings us to a stark new reality. That whole idea of being careful online, of not clicking the bad link, of being the master of your own digital castle, that's over. In this new era, you don't have to make a mistake to be a victim. All you have to do is exist. Your phone, just by being on and connected to the network, is a potential target. So it leaves us with a pretty heavy question. In a world where there are no walls, what does privacy even mean anymore?